So I failed the 75 hard challenge, and I want to talk about where I went wrong, why I decided to start, and what I'm going to do going forward. I've been avoiding this because it's so embarrassing to commit to something like an extreme diet, especially when you're on a weight loss journey, when you've been big your whole life and then you just fall off the bandwagon, especially when you have people believing in you, people rooting for you, people saying congratulations, or they can see how far you've came. But let's get into the story. So November of last year, the end of the month, I did not go visit my family for Thanksgiving. Why didn't I visit my family? Because I could not fit any of my clothes. I work from home, so I'm typically in sweats and a work shirt. So for months at a time, I don't go outside. I go to grocery store, I do basic runs, but I have severe social anxiety. So going outside requires a lot of me, a lot of my energy. It can become mentally taxing. It's something that I'm working on, blah, blah, blah. Take all of that, what you do, what you want to with it. But I decided to have a Friendsgiving for my friends that were in town that wasn't visiting their family as well. Anyway, on the day of Friendsgiving, I had a bunch of friends come over. They brought alcohol. I had to mention the alcohol because this is all a part of the story, but they brought alcohol. I cooked all the food. We had like a really great time. I had invited 2 family members. They could not make it on the day of Friendsgiving. So this is very important to the story. So Friendsgiving is over. I have a house full of alcohol. I am not a big drinker. I've never been a big drinker. I will call myself a social drinker for the video, but it's rare. Like literally twice a year, maybe. And another thing too, I'm on that note, I've never had a beer before. Isn't that weird? I've never drunk a beer before, but I've had some vodka, but I've never drunk a beer before. The next day, however, I had a bunch of leftovers over. So the 2 family members that didn't make it, they came over. They came over that night. I won't go too much into detail, but it was like a very fun but emotional night. And we all got really drunk. Like I have not been this drunk in a decade. So I woke up the next day with like an extreme hangover. And I was like, I never want to do this again in my life. I never want to feel like this. I feel horrible. I'm having chest pains. I can't fit any of my clothes. I don't feel confident. Like when I look in the mirror, I'm not happy with what I'm looking at. I feel disgusting. I feel disgusting. With me feeling bad, I'm eating more to try to cover up the feeling of not being happy with how I look. So instead of me fixing the problem, I'm like piling food on top as a temporary dopamine hit. Like I'm eating, I feel a little bit better. Anyway, that day I did something I had been avoiding for a very long time, and I stood on my scale. I stood on my scale. I said, let me face the truth December 1st. Let me accept whatever this reality is. So anyway, December 1st stood on the scale. It was very emotional for me because it's the biggest I've ever been in my life. And as a person who is very self-conscious with people staring at them, and I told you like social anxiety, I don't want to be a big massive person in a space and I'm already nervous because it's now like, who's that guy? Is he gonna eat us out of house and home? I don't want less attention. So I dealt with that. I stood on the scale, I accept those numbers, and I told myself I was going to change that day. This will be the last day I will drink in my life. This will be the last day I feel like this. This is a promise I made to myself. Threw away all the alcohol in my house, cleaned out my cabinets, went through my food, started eliminating everything that I didn't think was healthy. So super processed foods. I know this is a major jump, but this is what I had to do to be successful. And it's like, why are you talking about this? Food is so expensive right now, the economy and everything. So I cleared it out. I replaced it with loads of veggies. Loads of veggies. So I started tracking everything using MyFitnessPal. I had my perfect routine down. The first month I lost, I don't want to lie, so I'm going to actually look at those numbers for you guys so I am telling the truth. Liars are the worst! People that lie! So I'll just put this on the screen to show you guys, but in December, I went down 20 pounds. So from December 1st to December 31st, I dropped 20.8 pounds. I was very happy with that. It could have been water weight, but it was something that motivated me. It made me feel like the changes I was making was worth it. Like I'm seeing progress. January 2026, I dropped another 17 pounds, almost 18 pounds. So again, I'm working out. I'm going to the gym. I'm eating healthy. I'm feeling better. all of my health problems disappeared. I know people don't want to face the truth because we're always like, eat what you want. And you know, don't listen to the fitness people. They don't know what they're talking about, but they actually do. The doctors, the fitness people, when you're, I was morbidly obese. Yeah, I need to lose weight to feel better. It was all true. I was like in a better mental space. I was waking up early before work. It changed my life. Anyway, we roll around into February. I dropped another 11 pounds. So still great progress. I'm feeling amazing. I'm like, this is how I want to live the rest of my life. I want to be this person. This is who I am now. I always tell my mom I'm an almond person now. Like, I don't know if you get the joke, but I'm like an almond person. I'm eating clean. I'm making healthy decisions. I'm like apologizing to people. I'm like removing all negativity from my life. I'm texting people that I missed them. I'm like doing work on myself. I'm reading a book. I was reading 2 books a month. So I'm knocking out 2 books a month. I'm working up, I'm practicing on something after work for like an hour, doing self-improvement. It was like a full life change for me with everything. But then we roll around to March. And this is sad for me even looking at it, like I'm having an emotional thing because I'm staring at the truth. So March 16th, my grandma's birthday was coming up. So I had to visit my hometown. Visiting my hometown, I had already made a lot of progress and I made it there. When I made it, I seen my grandma. The first thing she's like, oh, you look so great. You dropped about 50 pounds. Which feels incredible when you see people that love you and they're like, wow, you look great. I can see the progress that you've made. What are you eating? Ask me about, I'm not used to people asking me about my diet or what am I doing for workouts. So it felt pretty great. But to celebrate her birthday, we had like a bunch of food, cake, all the stuff I'm not supposed to eat. And my grandma is very nice, very nice. If you ever wonder how Hansel and Gretel got inside that house and you're like, how did this, I'm not comparing my grandma to a witch, but how did the witch lure them in there? My grandma is so convincing. So she's like,
have a piece of cake, celebrate with everybody. You've already made so much progress.
But what she didn't know was that I have a terrible addiction. And I'm sure she knows, but I don't think she knew. It threw me off path. Because I eat a piece of cake and then I go in and eat the cake, literally. Like people had a small piece, but now I'm like, I want some of that. I want some of that. I want a burger. I'm like showing out for about 72 hours in my hometown, eating crazy. I get back home and I gained about 3 to 5 pounds, which threw me off because I was supposed to be doing the 75 hard challenge. I was doing the 75 hard challenge up until the 16th. I should have mentioned that's what the video is about. I was doing the 75 hard challenge. Mentally, I was overwhelmed with the 75 hard challenge because then I tried to put my structure in a box. So everything that I was doing normally, like I told you guys, I'm working out, I'm doing all these things. When I'm trying to put it in a box and saying, hey, you need to read an hour a day. Hey, you need to drink a gallon of water a day. Hey, you need to work out twice a day. Me doing that and just starting out my journey was a terrible decision. That was a terrible decision. I'm not a fitness guru. I'm not a personal trainer. This is not my lifestyle. I committed too early. Maybe later in the year, but at that time, starting out, just making progress, just seeing improvements, just really admitting this on video, just really learning how to lift weights. Like all of this is a lot to learn. Learning about micros, learning about the food I need to be putting in my body. I should not have committed to the 75 hard challenge. I get there, I start getting depressed because I'm not working out an hour a day. I get back home, I'm 3 pounds bigger. To add insult to injury, pollen season comes. I am severely allergic to pollen. And again, I have a friend who's big into fitness. And when I tell him things like this, he's always telling me like any excuse will do, which is true. Any excuse will do. So I don't want to give out my long list of excuses on why I failed the 75 hard challenge. It was really overcommitting, feeling bad about it, giving up, and eating to compensate for how I was feeling. So I started eating. Today, it's 2 months later, I've gained close to 20 pounds back. Close to 20 pounds. And I know people like, oh, that's because you were so strict. No, it's like a small voice in my head as I've been making these decisions. You know, the universe, God, it's a voice in my head saying, hey, stop. You don't need to eat that. But I haven't been listening. I've just been so avoidant for, admitting this to you guys and just being real with myself that I need to make my health a priority. I need to upload this video because I was waiting for this to be perfect in the perfect time. I thought the first video I made, it was going to be like, wow, I've transformed. I'm like this fitness guy. And I started this journey, but that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. But this will be my first upload. Such, me waving the white flag saying I failed the 75 hard challenge and I am going to work on health. Thank you for watching.